And we're gonna get to the last session before lunch, and the first panel discussion, we'll be talking about the topic which has been already mentioned on this stage a few times. A really hot topic, digital twins. So we're going to expand on that conversation and go more in depth. I'm going to invite in a few moments on stage the moderator, and I'm going to hand over the reins of this stage. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Matthew Byrd from RCN, who is going to lead this panel discussion. Give it up for him. Matthew, stage is yours.
All right, I think we got our panelists in the room as well, so I'll just invite you guys to join me on stage. We got okay, yeah, go ahead. Give a hand to our panelists joining. Pick a seat, any seat. Okay, welcome.
Hello.
We might be down. Oh, there we are. Okay. Nice to see you. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Grab a seat. If you couldn't tell, we're meeting for the first time right now as well. So, no. Well, I'll say before we get started, you know, the way I like to run panels is very conversational. I run a podcast. I love conversation. I love diving into organic conversation, which may be different from how a lot of moderators run panel, and there will be others that go on this week as well. But that being said, we're going to open it up and just converse, because this is a big topic. We've heard a lot of presentations around digital twin, but actually getting to just have some open conversation. Maybe there's conflicting thoughts. Maybe there's different perspectives. That's what I think is great about panels. So we've got 2 microphones here. We will have to do battle of the mics. If you guys want, you can grab one here, and you guys, oh, you do have one. Okay, perfect. Then you guys in the middle can just share the one. So before we get started, let's go ahead and do introductions. I know we've got names on screens, but just kind of the high level for those that don't know you already, what you do, what company you're with, so that they understand kind of the perspective you're coming into the conversation with. We'll start here.
I already had my pitch, so no need for that. Sorry. This one will be yours.
Okay. Thanks. I'm Szymon Bloch from Scan3D. We are from Poland. At the moment, we are one of the biggest company in Poland who provide 3D scanning above the ground and underground. We inspiring company to use this data from the scanning, from the BIM modeling, to be useful, to bring benefits to your company, to build digital twin. From my side, is still not existing very well. We talk about digital representation, maybe sometimes digital shadow, but it's a long way to digital twin from my side.
Okay, hello from my side. My name is Lukáš Altman-Kousal, and I am working in Skoda Auto, and where I am the expert manager for pressing process and digitalization. And my mission and vision is to make a digitalization to help machines and people in the production, especially in the press shop. And the biggest goal right now is to build a digital twin for industrial building and create the localized notification inside the building through the digitalization.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Johannes Hotz. I'm almost 30 years in the geospatial industry. I work for Leica Geosystems, which is part of the Hexagon group. I'm working already 25 years for Leica Geosystems, so a dinosaur, maybe. At least I feel sometimes when I always talk to this young generation. But this is always a very nice experience to talk to people fresh from university, young graduated, different perspectives, different angles. I love that one. I look basically after the BLK Arc. That's a product, a mobile laser scanner on a global base, mainly on robotics. So, for example, the Boston Dynamics Spot. And here it really captures one key solution to update a digital twin. Maybe I just throw in how to keep a digital twin up to date. And that is where very often the Spot with autonomous laser scanning can play a crucial role.
I have
So
a
thanks
feeling,
for being here.
yeah, I have a feeling we'll dig into some of that as we converse through. So let's just start, I think, really from the beginning. And also, again, maybe this is just how I run panels. I don't direct all my questions to one person. I really like that let's converse, let's throw a question out there, and feel free to play off of each other as well. So the first thing I want to ask is, like, what are the most common misconceptions right now around digital twin? I loved your presentation earlier. Is a scan a digital twin? Is a model? Is data? I feel like digital twin is really specific. You know, it depends on the application, depends on the industry, depends on the company's use case. But what are some of the most common misconceptions that we see floating out there right now?
You get a digital twin very cheap.
The cost.
It's not a misconception. It can be done with an iPhone.
Are you sure? Is it just capture some data? Is it not involving into business processes as well?
It depends on the digitization level of the company. If the company is living in 19th century, it is very costly. But if the company is regularly investing in their digitization, to have this done is pretty easy. But they have to be ready. So if they have technological debt, well, that's a problem. But it's a debt, and this has to be paid.
I also see that the companies, if they hear about digital twin, they are really scared. This is something what is really crazy, because you have huge assets, huge fabrics, and you don't know what you have it, how you can improve. And this is something what we together here, where we're sitting here and there, inspire people. We need to talk more and don't start talking the digital twin like a pilot. Maybe we can start like pilot, but let's start to capturing data. Let's start to bring this data like update data. You have to trust this data. The data should be good. After that, if company, what you said, Michael, have it guy who understands what is the benefits, and inside the company are the people who can inspire all people in the company. This is the huge value.
Maybe we have to clarify what is a digital twin before we continue.
That was my first question, and then I canceled it because I was like, we kind of hit on that almost earlier.
Maybe we have a customer or a user of a digital twin. So what is your goal? What is your reach? What to achieve with a digital twin? When would Skoda say we have a digital twin?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I like to answer like the digital twin, because when I mention it in our company, yeah, I want a digital twin, and they also ask me what is it, and for them the first is how it looks, and what is it. Then the second question is the benefits, and the benefits is the most. And for me, from my point of view, it's to have a like twin of the building, because I am focusing about the facility management, about the energy management, and the processes is in the beginning it's a hard topic, because you have to like scan all the processes, and especially the Skoda Auto is a huge company and the processes is really long and huge. So it's better to start with something small and build it. So this is for me right now, the digital twin, it's like the mirror of situation what it's there, but not about exactly the processes, but about the data, about the consumption data, like from the energy management, and also like point of interest, or let's say what is happening inside through the waste management and so on. This like separate parts, and in the next steps I will go through the processes, because then I can make a saving much huger. So this is like, for me, I'm like calling it a digital twin. For me, is a localized notification through the collecting data, because I am already collecting data more than 10 years. So I have a huge database. So, and I want to give the people data more transparency, because for example I have like some water leakage somewhere and I know the number of the measure device, but to be honest I don't know where is it in the building. So 2D layouts, it's really old and nobody is updating. So this is, and I think about the updating we will talk later, and also I see the question there, so we can like answer it later.
Yeah, that is a great reminder too. Feel free to submit questions, and we'll probably pull some of these in even during the panel as well. What's the first thing that comes to mind as far as a barrier as to why a digital twin adoption is it's not further along than it is now? I think there's a lot of interest. What stops companies from really adopting and pushing in?
So here at Hexagon, we did a survey with senior managers in our customer base, and 80% see the digital twin as important or very important. So senior managers, they have you have support. The challenge is, and I love what you say, start small. Don't say overall Skoda, all facilities on a global base, we have to do it now. I think this step-by-step approach is, I think, the right thing. To slowly grow, to maybe say, okay, we don't have a business integration with our assets into SAP yet. And this maybe comes later, because that's, for me, part of a digital twin. But to really step-by-step grow, learn, experience what are the benefits. I think people tend to overdo it. Very, very bad to say. I don't like working groups. A lot of people come from all different kind of businesses from an organization, and every has an idea. And everyone throws in what he needs. And then at the end, you have a huge requirements list. And this requirements list, then you do the calculations. And at the end, you go to your CEO, CFO, only CFO, and say, digital twin will cost us this, and it's not. I mean, you overdo it.
Mm.
But this is not a European specialty. If you get an RFQ from the Middle East, same sheet, just different money, because they Michal, we want a solution where we can plan the whole cities, and how people move, and then the operations, and then the construction, and the planning, and checking what the Indians are doing. So sorry guys, but they are using many Indians. Like, okay, but you don't know that there is not a single solution which can cover all these use cases. No, that there must be a solution. Okay, good luck with that. And then we step away, because this can't be done. Even NVIDIA is failing with this. This can't be delivered. But when we talk about the obstacles, the problem is the quarter reporting in all the corporates. So the mindset is looking on short-term results and achievements, and that's the problem with the large project, because there is no way that there would be any saving in like 2 or 3 years. But all these corporates needs to see the money in the ROI calculation, like 1 year, maybe 2 years in better cases. So you have to find the value for the customer, so they can argue with their management. Because, of course, the high manager, the C-level, someone tells, I like this, I want to have this. Okay, but then someone comes from the middle management who says, okay, nice, but we have these 27 use cases, it will cost arm and leg. Then there is another guy on the shop floor who says, but we don't have PLCs, we don't have internet, we don't have Wi-Fi, the IT guys are overwhelmed. So there are so many issues that you really have to pick not the right guy, but it has to be the right guy on the top, the right guy on the floor. You have to have the right, in our case, the right plant, because in Skoda, in Mladá Boleslav are 25,000 people. It's a city. Okay, in one building there is Lukáš who says this is something what I want. In the other building is Martin who says I don't need it, because his building is 2 years old or 27 years old, and it's an absolutely different condition of that building. He has different issues that Lukáš has. So this is the problem, that you have to find the right guy, top, bottom, the right use case. It has to be a simple one, so the ROI is very, very easy to achieve, because then you can grow, because then you can convince the past thinkers, I want to see the proof that this works out. Okay, cool. We invested 100 and saved 2. Done. Ciao. And this is how it really works. Lucky ones who got the big projects without the real realistic vision, so they make a lot of money. Okay, if you are in the shape, good for you, but it's not sustainable.
And additional barrier is the time. This digital twin took a lot of times. People don't understand how the process looks like. It's not like the 3D scanning job. It's not like beam modeling. It's a lot of problems to resolve what you told a few seconds ago. And the process for the pilot projects took a few months in good scenario, but sometimes can be 1 year. And we have to do the pilot project, not the huge companies like in our refinery in Poland. They want digital twin. They wrote everything what they wanted, and when they received offer, closed. Everyone lose time to perform the offer. Companies should start talking with the companies who do it in reality. And after that, what we have in Poland in another sector, the governmental people from government start talking with the companies, provide some talks to understand what they can receive it in the best solution, not the Ferrari, not the Cinquecento, what is really nice, but something in the middle. That should be win-win.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons, we believe so much in building community, putting on events, is sharing this information cross companies, right? Because there's always a company that's willing to take that first risk of, okay, we'll try this. But if they only keep that to themselves, then nobody else, gets the benefit of the lessons learned. And this idea of community and sharing these presentations and pushing this out and mixing even globally, right, is we start to share content and projects and case studies that will help educate those that aren't willing to take the first step. And maybe they're not the earliest adopter or, but I think there's a benefit to doing this.
I have a tip for all of you, okay? So this is a business tip for you just for free. Usually, if you work for large companies, being in the B2C market, like Tesco, Carrefour, all these retail stores, you have the prohibition to give a reference. So they will never ever confirm that you are working for them. So you make 0 money on the deal, you just got the deal. So you can say, I work for this company, but you can't. But in manufacturing businesses, this is very, very different. If you do something for them, they have 0 marketing for the plant, not for the brand itself. Yes, there is, but not for the manufacturing facility. But if you do something sexy, they will be super excited to go with you on the stage and they say how cool you are. Okay? So this is something what is really, really a good thing. You can get a lot of credit just to take the guys on the stage with you. We do it regularly, not just with Lukáš, but also with other guys. Please come with me. They are happy. We are happy. The people in the audience are happy because, yes, this can be done. It's not bullshit. Fine. He can talk to the customer, so they don't need to believe my promise because it can be an over-promise. And this works very, very well. And because you are suppliers, this is a good tip for you.
I know we talked a little bit about challenges or barriers earlier. I want to ask the same question, but in the technical ecosystem. So when looking at trying to actually build out digital twin, there's so many technologies, and I think that's even some of the complication, right? Is somebody that wants to build this out for their organization, where do you start? There's so many steps if you really talk about how do we capture, what do we use to capture, how do we process, how do we host? What are some of the technical barriers? Some of the steps easier than others, but and this will even lead into like skills that need to be developed with new talent coming into the industry. Where are we going to hit technical roadblocks with building out on a massive scale?
We see a little difference between a digital twin of a project phase. So, for example, building a gigafactory, or during operation and maintenance. If you look now at customers we have, unfortunately, it's the construction industry. They are also not very happy to share and come on stage. So we have to work together now with Skoda. But on the construction industry, there is, on large-scale projects, there is increasingly growing demand on the digital twin. And this goes far beyond the BIM, because BIM is not a digital twin. Scan is not a digital twin. Document awareness or a document data source database is not digital twin. But what we see on customers building large-scale objects, they constantly scan the site. In this case with a spot and with the BLK arc. So they constantly scan overnight, they run almost 24/7, get a digital twin. And with that one, they utilize this scan data to document project progress, to analyze, are we on track, are we on budget, do we achieve our timelines? Here was one question, how you can figurize or make how much money you have saved. One element is for sure is the awareness where you are in the progress. And I think this translates then in the operation and maintenance phase as well. Is the awareness of your building. Of course, if it's 2 years old, this guy on the job floor can say, oh, I don't need it because it's brand new. But this building will be in 5, 7, 9 years, 10 years old. And my house at home is 20 now. I have to start to invest. I don't know where, because everything is now 20 years old. I had this shocking moment. Maybe someone in the audience was with me in the elevator this morning. So I have in this Panorama Hotel, 23rd floor. I came down to the floor 17, and then it's stuck. Full, very warm. People were scared, 10, 15 people in this elevator. Was anyone there with me as well? Oh, lucky guys. So then he fall down 10, 15 times. He start again, and it was crashing. I was putting off my jacket because it was getting a little bit warm. How old is this Panorama building? It's 30, 40 years, huh? Maintenance, awareness of maintenance. This elevator surely needs awareness. After 10 minutes, I got out at the 17th floor. I was walking down there. I was not trusting anymore. Maybe this evening when I go back to the 23rd floor, I think my trust will come back, honestly. However, what I want to say is, independent at what level or what stage or age of the building is, at some point in time, you need to be aware what's going on. When you need to be repaired, what is the latest condition, when was repaired. The problem is in the chemical industry. Sorry, I'm talking now a little bit too long, guys. I will shut up. But in the chemical industry or oil and gas industry, we have clients, they tell me, our digital twin is only valid for maximum a week. Because then they will do repairs and things like that happening, and it's outdated. And the problem is, the biggest problem for them is, this is done by subcontractors. No one knows what they have done.
Yeah.
All blind.
Yep.
And a proper digital twin with proper workflows in a digitalized environment, as you said, will not be blind.
We are now working on a world's biggest chemistry plant in Argentina. And the funny thing is that, and this is something what can be a surprise for you, because we are trying to achieve the highest accuracy, the highest level of detail, and to be 1 millimeter, under 1 millimeter, 1 nanometer, whatever. And imagine they don't want to see how the site actually looks like. Okay? So we want to see roughly, plus minus, okay? Here is a pipe, here are the stairs. They don't want to see the level of detail because they know that it causes a lot of problems. Okay? And this is something what we're like, I thought that this should help. Yes, but we have different departments. For facility management and for the maintenance guys, this is super important thing. But the project is not for maintenance purposes, but because of safety. They have 1,100 people there. It's a very, very dangerous environment. So people, okay, not all of you are working in the offices. You are working on site. But people who are in the office, but I don't want to be tracked. You want to be tracked in gasoline production and this kind of environment. You want to be tracked so people can find you if something happens. And they have 1,100 people, and this is the purpose of the project, not facility management, not accuracy, not this kind of stuff. And also this motivation is a challenge, because one department expects, I want to see every single detail, every single scratch, every pipe. I don't care about the pipe, I want to see the position of the people. Ciao. Then it ends, and do whatever you want. And this motivation can be, in one way, it can make the things faster, because the decision making is very, very easy. I want this and ciao. But the other thing is that, but when the other department comes and want to play the same game, but we are missing this detail. Sorry, then it has to be redone and so on. But these are the little steps the company, if they undergo these steps, then the potential for a success is bigger or higher than, okay, we want to do this big, thick project. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious. I fully agree what you say. Because when we as Leica Geosystems develop a new project, a new product, a new laser scanner, for example, the first thing we define is the project scope. What is content, what is non-content? What is the situation before, the situation after? And for mainly important, we exclude things we don't want to achieve. That is the part, and the same would apply for the digital twin. I like your example. It's for, the goal is safety. That's the goal.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say multiple things that have been hit on. It's important to understand all the technologies, all the ecosystem, all the capabilities, because when we also have, a lot of people, right, that are trying to get into these technologies, use them in different industries, different applications. Everybody throws out the buzzword of digital twins, saying, we're a digital twin provider, we provide service. And it's like, what do? We scan. That's not. And then you start getting the wrong data for the wrong use case. Or if you work with this end client, right, and you capture the data a certain way, maybe really low accuracy because safety wanted it, but now they accidentally take it and use it for construction, but it was not accurate enough, and you have fabrication problems. And that's where I think we're getting to this point of understanding the benefits that can come holistically from the whole ecosystem, but that education piece has to be done from the front. So maybe the pilot project is just the safety first, but for an organization that wants to use it for all of them, they have to understand the cost, the complications that go into high accuracy and all of the data integration. Great points you guys made. We've got a few minutes left. We'll hit a few questions that have been submitted here. And this first one actually goes along with what we were just talking about. Do you think that digital twins become a standard part of every BIM workflow, or only for big budget projects?
For my side, for the big budget projects for now. But maybe in the future, the Europe is really poor area. We don't have money for this kind of digital twin. Maybe if we start talking about the Giga fabric in the Tesla, they have some idea how to use it. If company will take few departments and we understand what the department have the problem and we will resolve, they will find money. But we need to change the mindset. This is not the project for the 1 year, maybe for the 5-10 years, and we start understanding of the building and how it looks like, how we can save money, etc., etc. And after that, if we have more this kind of event like 3 Dice, people start understanding what can be the benefits, and they start talking. They don't scary about digital twin, but for now, I think so that in Europe will be for the big budget projects.
Any other thoughts on that one? All right, let's move to do you see any moral problems with dynamic digital twins in relation to tracking of employees? Do you think you can expect pushback against this one?
This is definitely for me, no. Okay? The problem is, or there is actually not the problem. When I showed you the video from Tiso, it started with the Benteler plant. It's an Austrian company, okay? So Dach region. And in Germany and in all these countries, they are freaking out because of the unions and everything. No. There has to be the right use case, and there has to be also the unions involved. And when I asked them, okay, and do you have any problem with unions? No, no, no. One of the drivers is a union guy. And he wants to see that the guys being under his command, they work properly. Because when the unions talk to the management, both sides have to have the data. And we are bringing just the yardstick. So guys, this is the data. I don't care if this is the problem of the management, supplier, customer, worker, middle management, technology, whatever. This is the data. And you have to solve it. And you have to pull on the same end of the rope, because otherwise you have a problem. And we don't have a project in Germany, noch. But in the US, in the Middle East, in Central Europe, in Italy, we have multiple projects in Italy in manufacturing. We are tracking people. So this works. You have to have just the right business case, use case, and the, let's say, appropriate company culture. Because if the company is toxic, nothing will work out. Nothing. There is not a technological thing.
Yeah, and for example, from my point of view, it's to track people in Skoda Auto, it's forbidden. We can't do it, but like I will be happy if we do it, because for example, evacuation plan or some emergency plan, it's useful, because to have a digital twin, one we already like creating. So for the security department and the fire department, it's nice to, they can see all the people are out, okay, it's done and it's saved. But there is the rules. So.
Yeah, and I think the biggest benefit, again, that everything we've talked about as we wrap up is there's so much that can be done with these technologies, with this future of what digital twin can do for an organization. It's all about how we use that data to solve problems for a specific industry or a specific business. And I know this won't be the end of these conversations. I'm sure these gentlemen would love to talk with you throughout the rest of this event. But we're going to wrap up on time here. So thank you. Please give a hand to the panelists. Thank you. I'm going to shake your hand, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you.